Izzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. And Ras Kass, you are the topic of discussion, my G. Ras Kass, you are the topic of discussion, my G. So let's get right into it. And first and foremost, I want to say big salute to the YouTube channel, The Art of Dialogue. Big salute to the channel, The Art of Dialogue, man. I love the interviews. You feel what I'm saying? I always tap in. I'm always tapped in when a new interview comes out. I like how he picks the people that he interviews. You know, he talks to a lot of people on the out that was right beside the artist, or has a different perspective on what they saw from the artist. In this particular interview right here, he interviewed an artist named Ras Kass. Now, a lot of you youngsters probably don't know about Ras Kass. He's an old head. He was popping in the 90s, early 2000s. You understand? West Coast artist. I heard his name when I was younger, not really into his music, but I definitely heard of him. And I learned a lot about Ras Kass, the legend of Ras Kass, in this interview. You feel what I'm saying? Because the Art of Dialogue, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and he always scratches the surface when it comes to this music. He always scratches the surface, and it's always deeper than rap when he's interviewing somebody. You feel me? So I learned a lot about Ras Kass. I didn't know how he got down, that he was that deep with Jay-Z. I didn't know that he was that deep with a lot of East Coast artists. You know, you learn these things if the right questions are asked in the interview. Now, Ras Kass was talking about Jay. He was talking about a lot of other things, and then he goes left and he starts talking about the industry, the higher-ups and the elites. And that's, you know, my ears stand up when I hear anybody talking about or exposing the higher-ups and the elites. And Ras Kass had a handful of different experiences when it comes to the higher-ups and elites. And I was like, whoa, I wonder if anybody's going to catch this the way I'm catching it. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. You know, it's a red flag for me anytime I hear, you know, the higher ups and elites. Anytime I hear about certain levels of the industry, I'm going to tap in, and I'm going to stay tapped in. You understand what I'm saying? It just is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And that leads me and segues me into my first angle. And that's the whole situation with Ras Kass being blackballed from the industry. Now, he was talking about how he came to the East Coast. He was doing business with Jay-Z. You understand? He was recording music in Jimmy Hinchman's studio. How he had to make sure Pac was cool with that. Beautiful story. Then he goes left and he talks about how his career could have went up to another level, but he didn't want to give up his manhood. Let me just say that. You know, pick the words wisely. That his manhood would have had to been taken for him to get to the next level. And he wasn't willing to give up that much integrity. He wasn't willing to give up his manhood. Now, he also said, big salute to everybody in the Rainbow Coalition. If that's what you are into and that's what you do, you're down with the ABCD EFG gang, much respect to you. But it's a different story when you're a straight heterosexual male and these advances are pressed upon you for you to rise in your career. And I talk about this all the time. And, you know, every now and then you get an artist that's already an old head or already rich, and they see a light at the end of the tunnel, and they start to expose. They start to expose parts of the industry that they would have never told anybody about. And that's exactly what Ras did, man. Salute the Ras Kass. You know, he said that he was approached, and he had been approached multiple times about his manhood and his integrity. You understand what I'm saying? And just how if he was willing to bend, break, or fold a little bit, just a little bit, let him put the tip in. Let him put the tip in. Let him suck on the tip just a little bit, and you could go to the next level. You could be on Jay-Z's status. This is what Ras Kass said in this interview. You understand that he had been to multiple upon multiple upon multiple, mansion parties where they were setups. You go to this party, it's full with a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of groupies, and you know what I'm saying, and you get pushed in this room or you get pushed in that conference room, and next thing you know, you're letting one of these execs blow you, top you. Yeah, you're letting one of these execs take advantage of you for that next level, for that next contract. And he says that's the reason why his career stalled. He said that's the reason, well, one of the reasons why his career stalled is because he wasn't willing to give it up. And then he also elaborated. He talked about Superhead. Do y'all remember Superhead? She dropped a book, A Tell All. That's what made her famous. And he talked about how he would see her while at industry parties and how she would top off 5 or 6 guys at a time. And how he wasn't into that type of stuff. He didn't deal with that type of stuff. But if you dig into her book, from what he said, it actually is going to make me read her book. But if you dig into her book, he said, she found, dildos in Bow Wow's dresser drawer. She exposed and she outed multiple upon multiple celebrities. She found a dildo in Bow Wow's dresser drawer. It was a couple of hardcore rappers that wanted her to put a strap on. Yeah, and they thought that their secret would be safe with her. Oh no, we all monetize, and everybody's gonna monetize what they know. Everybody's gonna monetize what they have. And that's exactly what she did. So I'm gonna double back and read her book. I'm gonna get the audio joint and I'm gonna listen to it. Because I'm curious to know, who did she out? And like he said, Bow Wow, amongst other celebrities. Yeah, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface. And you got to know, back in those days, we all wonder why Ras Kass didn't make it to the top, why Ras Kass wasn't on that level. But at that time, the information wasn't available. Yeah, the information wasn't available. And it's multiple upon multiple different ways they're going to approach you. It's not always sexual. A lot of the times it is sexual, because that is the main way they can lock you in. They get you on camera doing some, homosexual acts, and you're supposed to be this big time rapper. You'll do anything for that information not to make it to the light of day. And that's when they lock you in and put the clinks on you. It is what it is, man. The higher ups and the elites are always working. And when you listen to Ras Kass, man, he breaks it down from somebody with full-on experience. He said he was approached multiple upon multiple times by for sexual favors. Sheesh. Salute to Ras Kass, man, for exposing the industry, for exposing the higher ups and the elites. It is what it is. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And that leads me and that segues me into my second angle. My second angle. And that's the other way, the other angle, the other lane that they tried to take to get Ras Kass to submit to the higher ups and the elites. See, it's multiple different angles. And that's why I say that, because you can apply that to any level of life. You can apply that to any situation. It's almost like I said before, it's a million ways to skin a cat. It's multiple angles you could have took to maximize your capabilities, to maximize your situation. And the higher ups and elites, they think the same way. It applies to them. It's multiple different angles they're going to take to approach you, to get you to submit to the higher ups and the elites. Oh, it's not just sexual favors. And Ras Kass went into that as well. He broke that down. Now, Ras Kass mentioned that they also approached him on his music, on the angle of music. Now, Ras Kass is an artist from LA. And you got to know, especially for a lot of you youngins that don't know, in the 90s, California dudes were, stereotyped a certain way due to the movies that was produced for us. Again, imagery controls minds. Imagery controls minds. And before we had this internet, it was easy to control minds with the imagery through the movies, through, sitcoms, through radio. You understand what I'm saying? So when you thought of a LA rapper, you thought of a Snoop Dogg, you thought of a Mac 10, a Dr. Dre, a West Coast Connection. You understand? You thought of Khakis and All Stars and a 6'4" drop top with some hydraulics on it, doing one of these. That's what you thought of when you thought of the LA rap artists. They had jerry curls. They had a blue or red flag on. Oh, they also crip walked. When I tell you, I wouldn't care what kind of gang member you was. Back in those days, your ass was crip walking. On hood. You was crip walking, my dog. Now, Ras Kass was one of those LA artists, something like a Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? A good kid, bad city. You understand? Influenced by the gangs and associated, but never jumped in. Never, all the way a gang member. He was never a gang banger. He didn't crip walk. He didn't have a jerry curl. He didn't wear khaki suits and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? So it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. And Ras Kass goes in about how certain execs were sent to approach him about changing his image. They literally told a Ras Kass, a lyrical genius, that we can't market this kind of California rapper. We don't know how to market the smart black guy. We don't know how to market the intelligent black male. We know how to, market an ignorant black guy who's going to talk about killing and shooting and ODing and, chicks ain't nothing but hoes and tricks and all that. We know how to market that and make millions. But if you talk with some sense, if you have if you know how to articulate yourself, you know how to dialogue, you feel me? We don't really know how to market that. And that's another angle by the higher ups and the elites. Like I said, they have learned over the years how to sell death to the black culture. They've learned over the years how to sell everything toxic to us. You understand? So anything that's positivity, anything that's going to uplift, anything that's going to educate, we don't know how to sell that. And I thought that was a red flag. That was something that stood out to me. That was something I said to myself, I gotta talk about that. I gotta elaborate on that. It's not always going to be sexual. What happens is they'll get you to some of these parties. That's the first angle. They're going to get you to a party. They're going to get you drunk. They're going to spike the punch. And then they're going to get one of these, docile, Caucasian execs to top you off, to grab your testicles, to see if you will allow them to swipe your ass real fast. And maybe if you get drunk enough, you will take some top, right? But if they can't get you that way, they back off. They invite you to less and less mansion parties because you're not that type. So we don't want that kind of energy here if you're not going to be willing to get down with Diddy, if you're not going to be willing to get down in one of these conference rooms. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And the majority of the men, they're not the takers. They're not going to give the top. So they always send, a feminine man to slide up on you with that soft female voice he got. And how he wears lip gloss. And how he might just try to top you off. And they see if that's going to work. But if it doesn't work, then what they do is they double back. And they press your music. Oh, we love your album, man. Kill, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. But these two songs right here, I Know I Can, Be What I Want to Be. We don't want that. We can't market that, my boy. We got this St. Ives 40s ad, man. They're gonna pay you $100,000. You don't mind doing this beer commercial. That's gonna be pushed in your neighborhood. That's gonna be promoted to your people. That's gonna furthermore F up the family unit. You don't mind, right? We got $100K for you. Listen, man, if you could just come and say the N-word a little more. We need you to say the N-word a little more, my man. You're not cursing enough. Yeah. This is another way they infiltrate. This is another way and another angle they use to make you submit, because maybe you might not submit sexually, but when it comes to your craft, when it comes to your integrity, will you give that up? How much for that then? I sent my exec to you. You didn't go in a conference room. You didn't want to get blowed down by him. He was trying to top you off. Cool. You didn't bite that. But how much for your integrity? How much for the integrity of your music? How much will you let us control your narrative? How much will you let us control your image, your likeness, what we present to the public? Yeah, and I thought that was deep because I came up in the era when, you know, it was a stereotype on the LA artist. It was a typical LA artist that we was used to kind of seeing. You know what I'm saying? They had twisties like Snoop Dogg. They always had a perm or something like that. They wear suits like a pimp. Yeah, anything else, you know, they had flannel jackets. Like anything else, we really wasn't rocking with. And they used multiple different angles, and I just thought that it was very eye-opening to hear Ras Kass elaborate on that and go in. If you get a chance, go check it out, man. It's on the Art of Dialogue channel on YouTube, man. Amazing amazing interviews, man. So salute the Ras Kass, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not always a sexual favor. They just know a lot of men give in to sexual favors, especially when they're intoxicated. But if we can't get you there, then we'll get you here. Yeah, we'll get you here. Listen, don't trip, but we want that hardcore hip hop. We want the hardcore part. We don't want the uplifting, you know, intelligence, you know what I'm saying, articulating yourself, you know what I mean, dialogue hip hop. We want the hardcore, raunchy, yeah, talk about the worst situations you ever been in. We're going to play it over and over again so you can stay in the worst situation you ever been in. It's something different you're going to get here at Grown Man Business TV. I'm nothing like the rest. Take the message, man. Take the message, because I'm going to bring one every time, so you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. You could tap in or you could tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into the Grown Man Business. I suggest you tap into this Grown Man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoating nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. We giving it to you straight raw. Ras Kass, we giving it to you straight raw, my boy. At all times. And I just went play for play, line for line, chess move for chess move, on just how the higher ups and elites work, how they move through the industry to pick their victims out. Oh, they're going to use sexual favors. Then if they can't get that, they're going to turn back around and test your integrity. How much can we buy you for? Your likeness, your imagery. Because we control the masses with this. So we need that. And it's way easier if we can get you in bed with one of these execs, if we can get you, you know, recorded doing some type of LBG 123 gang type stuff. You know, the Rainbow Coalition. If we get you on camera doing that, oh, we can tell you to do anything and you'll do it. But if we can't get you to do that, then we got to manipulate your music. We got to manipulate your imagery. We got to manipulate your likeness. And that's how we'll control the masses, the higher ups and elites. I'm just giving you some game on how they think and how they work. YouTube is the new portal. YouTube is the new portal to have strings attached to you by the higher ups and the elites. It's almost like a new way to get drafted into the NBA. It's a new lane. And the higher ups and elites are watching every last one of y'all and picking out the pot. Oh yeah, he willing to do anything. He willing to do anything. I'm gonna get deep. It's gonna get deep. It's gonna get wicked. Cause you know, my next video is gonna be about how the YouTubers are gonna be the next ones to be sacrificed. Y'all better be aware. Keep your eyes open, especially your third eye, and keep your head on a swivel at all times, my G. It's getting real out here, you dig? Yeah, tap in and tap out. You already know what it is. So you already know, man, it's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in and you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest? I suggest you tap in. Dang.